Hi, my name is Scott Paradine, and this is my sketchbook film for my role as directing actors in the film Three's a Crowd. Before we had started shooting the first scene, while we were on set, I answered any questions the actors had about their characters and told them the backstory of how they'd come to be in the situation of standing in a room with a dead body, explaining they had come down on holiday and chose to rent a B&B, and as soon as they'd entered the lounge of this building, they were met with this body, and the film starts on them trying to figure out what they should do on their first impression. We shot the scene a couple of times from this angle, and as I looked back through the footage on set, I noticed while TJ's performance was very good, she was stood extremely still. So I asked her to try the next take with her nervously rubbing parts of her arm and neck to show how uncomfortable and nervous she was. I think this worked really well and added a more physical side to the performance. As we were shooting the same scene, but with this time with the camera on Abby, I noticed she had naturally put her hands together and was constantly moving them, which I thought worked really well, and I told her to emphasise this during the following takes, as I thought it showed her uncomfort and at times it almost looked like she was praying, which was very fitting for the situation as they both needed a miracle. It felt to me like a very Robert Bresson thing to focus on, which is why I think I was drawn towards them and wanted Abby to emphasise them in the following takes. This last scene was shot roughly 2 weeks later, and having seen how Abby and TJ worked together and noticing how good they were at bouncing off one another, I wrote up another script which was a bit more physical and while still very serious, played on the comedic style they were both very good at. During their argument with the shovel and fighting over who was going to dig, I told Abby to constantly try and give TJ the shovel and for her to never take it and just push it back towards her, like an almost hot potato situation where neither person wants to dig. At the point where TJ notices that someone has spotted them and tells Abby, originally she just said to her that there's a man over there, and Abby looked. However, on one of the takes, TJ never actually specified there was a man and just told Abby to look, and physically grabbed and turned her head, which I thought worked far better than her just saying it outright, as it intrigues the audience to what she could possibly have seen, so I told them to stick with that for the rest of our takes.